Hello there. I'm Shaun McLaren, and today I have my Temur energy deck for you. So let's go over the deck list and then enjoy some games together. So I've been working on mid-range-ish energy decks since the Pro Tour. I played red-green energy mid-range with Chandra's, and then the deck has slowly evolved, and here we are. Now we have Whirler Virtuosos and other assorted blue cards. So I've talked about the green and red cards a lot, so I'll focus more on the blue splash. So confiscation coup is an interesting one. It's a really good mind control in this deck. It's kind of a more permanent mind control effect because mind controls that are enchantments can be destroyed, but confiscation coup, you need to bounce the creature to get it back. The deck generates a lot of energy, so oftentimes you're able to confiscation coup bigger creatures, ones that are more than 4 converted mana cost. And the real spiciness that pushes confiscation coup over the top is that you can steal artifacts with it, not just creatures. So Aether Works Marble and Skye Sovereign are 2 common targets for confiscation coup, but you can also take smugglers' copters, cultivator caravans, dynavolt towers, that sort of thing. So confiscation coup is sort of what we're topping out the deck with and wanting to cast after we've established a bit of a board, maybe started beating down a bit, and then we confiscation coup one of their good blockers and continue pressing our advantage. Jace can actually act similarly with its bounce ability to clear the way and provide a tempo advantage. But that's not Jace's main reason for being in the deck. Jace is here to draw you lots of cards, and lots of good cards. The scry then draw a card ability is actually really good, and almost always, Jace will survive once you drop it. This deck is very good at protecting Jace with Whirler Virtuoso and Bristling Hydra. So you're usually drawing 2, 3, 4, 5 cards from Jace, which is often enough to end the game. And even if Jace does get dealt with, he's usually going to draw you a couple cards, make your opponent have to spend their turns attacking him, make awkward attacks potentially. And I've even emblemed Jace a few times, and that's usually enough to end the game. We also have Skye Sovereign as another 5-drop, which is great against the aggro decks, and in the board we also have another one, so we can really punish the aggro decks and have a good top end to our deck. Whereas Jace isn't very good against aggro decks, better against like Black-Green Delirium. Speaking of Black-Green Delirium, that's mostly why we have Aether Works Marble in the main and sideboard. It is one of the best ways to win the long grindy games, is activating Aether Works Marble multiple times, getting energy whenever you trade creatures, and being able to find your Jaces off of Aether Works Marble. Bristling Hydra, still just a very good card, and very good in this deck. I mean, Hexproof is an amazing ability. Bristling Hydra has great stats. It's great at attacking, it's great at blocking. It sometimes blanks a handful of removal, and it can take out planeswalkers with great ease. So Whirler Virtuoso is kind of the inspiration for the blue splash, and Whirler Virtuoso does not disappoint. It's secretly a very good green card in draft, and it's secretly a very good green card in this deck as well. Attune generates energy for it. pretty much everything in the deck generates energy one way or another, and Whirler Virtuoso can use that energy in a way that really helps the deck out by getting in the air to pressure planeswalkers, by getting in the air with Thopters to block flyers from blue-white flash and protect your own planeswalkers, or just block a Selfless Spirit. I mean, how good does this card match up against Selfless Spirit, which is otherwise an excellent card against you? And Whirler Virtuoso just has very solid stats. Comparing it to, say, Pia Nalar, Whirler Virtuoso just, I mean, it has better base stats, and since it's a 2/3, although it's not quite as versatile as Pia, but kind of shows how good it is. The rest of the deck I've talked about a lot before. Tireless Tracker provides, it's basically a split card, Dark Confidant and Tarmogoyf. It draws you cards and it's gigantic. Servant of the Conduit is great ramp, decent body, and generates energy in the late game. Allows for big turn 3 plays like Bristling Hydra or multiple 2-drops. Long Tusk Cub is it won't be small forever, it grows up very big. Another great energy sink and energy generator. And then we have 8 removal spells, which is kind of a necessity in a world with so many spell quellers around. Attune is good fixing. The mana base, we have lots of tapped lands, but the mana works very well. Evolving Wilds is kind of, a lot of people don't like Evolving Wilds as much as I do, but Evolving Wilds is definitely a card I like and value very highly in a deck like this. It's especially nice that Evolving Wilds works well with Tireless Tracker and Aether Works Marvel. With Tireless Tracker it gets you 2 clues, and with Aether Works Marvel it gets you an extra energy by sacrificing itself, so that's just a little added bonus. The sideboard, we have negates and ceremonious rejections for combo decks, control decks, that sort of thing. Natural states and root outs for artifacts and enchantments. Root out is definitely one of the most asked about cards. Why do you play Root Out instead of Appetite for the Unnatural? It's because it makes a clue. This deck loves to draw cards, and to trade Root Out for a Smuggler's Copter, a Stasis Snare, a Skye Sovereign, and then you're able to cash it in later, really helps you find gas in the late game and not fizzle out, draw too many lands. I value that much more than the instant speed and the 2 life from Appetite for the Unnatural. And you're rarely casting Appetite for the Unnatural at instant speed. You're often almost never leaving it up to kill something. So Root Out sorcery speed clause is not that big of a deal. Plummet and Clipwings are almost entirely for blue-white flash, the best sideboard card basically that we have for them, so we're willing to dedicate 3 slots to them. Although Clipwings is a concession for Black-Green Delirium, actually, in Mind Rack Demon is a card that I want to deal with efficiently. And Clipwings also can deal with Emrakul, whereas Plummet can't target Emrakul. So that's why we have the 1 Clipwings, is for Black-Green Delirium, although it also obviously comes in against Blue-White Flash. It's just slightly worse than Plummet against them. And then Radiant Flames for the aggro decks. And then a bit more redundancy in our top end, depending on what we're up against. Aether Works Marvel and Jace are good against control decks in Black-Green Delirium, whereas Skye Sovereign is going to be good against the aggro decks. And that's pretty much everything, so let's get to the matches.